Saturday Social, brought to you by EA Sports FC with PlayStation 5.
Last weekend saw the return of Kevin De Bruyne to the Premier League. What an impact, Joe, that he made. He came off the bench to get a goal and an assist to give Man City all 3 points. Cracking game that was, by the way, at St James's Park. And it got a lot of people talking online about where Kevin De Bruyne ranks. We know he's a top player, but where he ranks in terms of the greatest ever midfielders.
He's up there, isn't he? He's up there. So we've asked our guests to pick the 10 greatest Premier League midfielders of all time. This is not going to be easy. There's actually 11 magnets on the table in front of you guys. You're going to have to come to an agreement on the order, though, because I've seen both of your 10 lists, and there is quite a lot of disagreement on the order.
And the reason why there's 11, as you say, is because there's one name different and the order's slightly different.
I think Dan's got the Leaf has it. So let's start at number 10. Who do you think is the 10th greatest midfielder? You've got your list in front of them, so you don't forget your 10 list.
I mean, I don't need to look at my list for this one because my number 10 is an incredible number 10, and that is my boy Mesut Ozil.
Yeah.
For me, second highest assists in a single Premier League season, and that was whilst every other assister here was supplying some of the greatest strikers in Premier League history. This guy did it in a season where he was supplying Welbeck and Giroud, who are top players, but you wouldn't say that they were the standout striker of a Premier League season. 19 assists in a single season. And aside from stats, there are things that this guy does on a pitch that are simply magic, and I love him. One of my favourite players of all time, Mesut Ozil.
Agree or disagree, Niamh?
I mean, I don't disagree that he's incredible. And as well, you know, this was through that Wenger in, Wenger out time.
Yeah.
It was a really messy period for Arsenal, and he was a shining light. But no, he's not in my top 10.
Who would you go?
My 10 is
N'Golo.
Oh,
wow, low.
I feel that's low for Kante.
Wow.
That's, I mean, I prefer, N'Golo is in my list, which we'll find out, but 10th is harsh for what he's achieved.
You know, it's still the 10 best midfielders. With a lot of midfielders in the Premier League, we're talking the 10 best out of so many. So, you know, I'm not saying
Where have
he's
you
bad.
So I've got N'Golo. Let me just check here. I've got N'Golo 9th. So
He's making a big fuss.
but what
the
reason why I think Ozil should be in is because of the team he played in, and it's kind of like a Stevie G thing where if Ozil was playing for the likes of City, United, or any of the great Premier League teams, he would have gone on to achieve what they achieved. But to be in a lesser team and get 19 assists in a single season, and also just on the eye test to be one of the most amazingly gifted footballers I've seen.
Players, aren't they?
Are you happy to have him 11th, maybe? And then we can use and
seriously, I can concede so many things, but Mesut Ozil has to be in this list.
Who is not going to be in the 10 then? Because this is
David Silva, because he was going to be my 11th.
David Silva's not in your top 10.
He was going to be my 11th.
Wow, I know it's your birthday, but that's a massive
can I just say, he was going to be my 11th. Wait, guys, please, let me land. Let me land. I'm under pressure right now. Let me land. He was going to be my 11th because there is no doubt that there's a reason he's called Merlin, like unbelievable player. And also, at one point when people thought he was finished, he came back, shaved his head, and just became even better. But for me, he was in a City team that was dominating the Premier League.
But are you trying to say that David Silva couldn't do what Ozil did at Arsenal?
I think Ozil's skill set and what he can do is totally unique. I think Ozil can do what Silva did. I don't think Silva could do what Ozil did.
David Silva recorded 27 more assists than any other player during his 10 seasons in the Premier League. He won four Premier Leagues. 60 goals, 93 assists and 309 appearances. I don't think I can put my name to a top 10 without David Silva. I know it's not our choice, but we have to have David Silva in.
Mesut Ozil.
Is there anybody else?
No, everyone else here, I think, is like banked on in the top 10.
Okay, if it's 3-1.
The only other thing that this would kill me as an Arsenal fan, the only other one that I would be logically saying is Cesc Fabregas, because everyone else, it would be ridiculue to not have them in.
I think 3-1 here.
Guys, don't do this to me on my birthday.
Well high.
A lot higher than 10.
So if you were going to have Kante at 10, you were going to have Kante at 9. We start with Kante at 10 and Mesut just missed out for now.
Seems like a good shout.
And then we can carry on building through. We can always come back to Mesut.
I'll tell you what we can do as well. We can always come back and look at the order.
We can always come back.
All right, Mesut, full disclosure, I love you.
Arsenal fans,
I fought for you.
Let's get Kante in there.
Stick Kante up.
But Kante is a deserved player. I mean,
PFA Player of the Year, FWA Footballer of the Year for 16-17. Of course, won Premier League title back-to-back, didn't he, I think, Leicester?
Yeah, Leicester and Chelsea.
4 at 9, Niamh.
Yes, so at 9 I've got Cesc.
So
Okay.
You got 8, I guess.
So,
One ahead.
yeah, so Cesc Fabregas was at 8, yeah. So I'm more than happy with that. Captain of Arsenal at 21 and still second in all-time Premier League assists, despite being out of the league, like in between his stints at Chelsea and Arsenal.
Almost for his prime, really.
Yeah.
111 Premier League assists, which is second in the all-time league.
It's outrageous.
Incredible.
And like when Chelsea signed Diego Costa, you thought, oh, they finally sorted out a killer in front of goal. When they signed Fabregas, they guaranteed themselves a league title.
So you're happy to put Chelsea legend Fabregas at 9, yeah?
Look at the kit he's wearing.
Okay, we'll keep rolling up your lists. Who you got next?
Top player, I do agree. Top.
So, I mean, for me, in 7, so I'm happy to have him 8th if you are as well. I had Yaya Toure in at number 8.
I've got 8th as well.
Yeah.
Agreement so far.
2013-2014 season, I believe it was 35 games, 33 goal contributions, and he had a 90% pass accuracy for an entire season. I mean, that's up there with one of the best individual performances of a season, so Yaya has to be in there for me.
62 goals he scored, 32 assists in 230 appearances. Great.
Yeah, he became that kind of midfielder at Man City as well, but people forget that when he was at Barcelona, he was a defensive midfielder, he even played centre-back in matches as well. He could be whatever midfielder he wanted to be.
Yeah, unreal player, unreal.
Okay.
Yeah, so he was such a match winner, Yaya, wasn't he? Like in single moments when they needed a big goal or a strike from distance.
Clutch player.
So he scored 20-plus Premier League goals, he said, in a season. I think it's only Frank Lampard did that before that, but yeah.
Next on the list, where we go?
Amazing return. Neve, do you want to take number 7? Who did you have at 7?
Yeah, so I've got Patrick Vieira.
Oh, no! That feels low for me.
How dare you, Neve? Damn.
Who did you have, Dan?
I had, your boy Joe over there's not going to like this. I had Paul Scholes at number 6. So I would...
Where's the reaction to that?
Well, so I had him at number 6, but I'm happy to have him at 7. But I do think 7's too low for Paul Scholes, I'll be honest.
Sorry, 11 Premier League titles, Paul Scholes, we're talking about here. Treble-winning Paul Scholes.
No, but when you see the players I've got in front of Scholes, I don't think you'll...
I will.
There's no way he's better.
I absolutely will.
You will, because he's his number 1.
I think
7 feels very low for
7. I think 6 feels about... I think 6 feels about right.
So you didn't even have David Silva on your list, so should we be considering David Silva here? And you...
Yeah, I'm happy. Actually, no, yeah, I'm absolutely happy.
But who would miss out from this list if David Silva went in?
Well, it'd only be Mesut Ozil out.
Yeah, sure.
So the rest can all go out.
So the rest can still go in, yeah? Yeah. Okay, fine. I'm happy for David Silva, for Merlin to go in.
So you'd have him above Fabregas and you'd have him above Yaya?
I feel like David Silva's Premier League legacy is greater than the other players here. Obviously, what he did in a
even
short
though you
period.
weren't going to include him in your list at all.
Well, yeah, but it's because I wanted Ozil.
You're very critical of it.
I genuinely think if you watch like an Ozil compilation, I know that's a very like specific thing to say, but there are some things he did on the ball that just they didn't get you a goal or an assist, but they were just breathtaking to watch.
Yeah.
And I think that deserves a mention. So
right.
I would be happy to have
David Silva happy with 7?
Yeah.
Okay, let's get David Silva up.
Okay, David Silva in 7.
Which means let's talk about why you've got Vieira so low then, Neve.
Yeah, I mean, it's still really high. There's nothing negative to say about Patrick Vieira, but it just depends what midfielder you like, which type of midfielder. I absolutely love Patrick Vieira. I mean, the Patrick Vieira that I saw as a first account was the Serie A Patrick Vieira, not really the Premier League Patrick Vieira, but still he had that tenacity.
So then we could possibly take my view on this because I saw him in the Prem being invincible.
So where
disrupting Roy Keane. So I had Vieira as 4th.
Do you think Vieira over Roy Keane?
Yeah.
See, that's where
I had Roy Keane 5th.
Wow.
I had him.
A regular debate.
Yeah, so I had Roy Keane as the greatest captain in Premier League history.
Yeah,
he won 7 Premier League titles. I think it was 4 of them as captain. There's no doubt about that. But if you're taking what Vieira won when he was disrupting United and also just on the ball, who is a more naturally gifted footballer, I think Roy Keane is a top footballer, a great legend, a great leader. But Vieira, I mean...
Those battles were great, weren't they?
They were unreal.
Yeah, about 3 Premier League titles, Vieira.
So if it's Keane and Vieira between 6 and 5, which way around do you want to go?
I think it would be disrespectful to have Vieira below Keane in terms of footballing ability. So I think...
But then you've got the whole package as a footballer. I mean, they're both very similar in the sense that we've seen at Crystal Palace that Vieira as manager is a very calm, thoughtful man. And you look at, he's kind of introverted and laid back and comedic, Roy Keane. But they were so aggressive. They did what they needed to do to win games on the pitch. They were both that kind of player. They left everything out there and showed that respect to the fans.
Absolutely.
In terms of ability, yeah, OK, perhaps you... But Roy Keane, he was so tireless. His work rate, he covered every single
but work rate for me is something that's kind of like overplayed in English football. We seem to think like work rate is like...
Gonna have to push you on an answer.
What's the be-all and end-all? I think Vieira is way better as a technical footballer than Roy Keane. It has to. Get Vieira in there, please.
You don't stay in that Manchester team, that iconic team. You don't stay for that long if you've not got the technical ability as well.
No, absolutely, I agree with that. That's why Gary Neville was also there. But
by the way, you
can
put them down and move.
Yeah.
You just need to see
OK, go on.
OK, Neve is conceding. Roy Keane, incidentally...
You want Neve at 5, right?
So I want Vieira at 5.
OK, put Keane in 6 then. Roy Keane, interestingly, 7 Premier League titles, named the PFA Premier League Team of the Year 5 times. Vieira named the PFA Team of the Year 6 occasions.
Top 4.
So 2 top players. Let's go to top 4. Let's just reveal the magnets you've got left so that we know. So you've got Frank Lampard, Paul Scholes, Steven Gerrard and Kevin De Bruyne, which I think is fair, actually, because you see on socials when people are talking about that there's often the Scholes, Gerrard, Lampard
debate.
Trinity,
yeah.
And De Bruyne.
You say the Trinity, does that mean Frank Lampard is 4 for you?
So I actually had Lampard purely because of his goal-scoring stats. I gave him that extra buy. I had him 3rd, Frank Lampard, because I thought 177 Premier League goals.
Where did you have him?
Yeah, goals and assists, brilliant. I had him 4th. I did the other 3.
And I'm not mad at that. Like, for me, Scholes and Lampard, for me, were interchangeable. Like, Scholes, for me, does the hardest thing to do in a midfield, which is control the tempo of a game, whereas everyone else had more to bring to the table in terms of goals or assists. But I'd be happy to take your lead on that. Okay. I do want to say is that Lampard is in the top 10 for goal-scoring midfielders of all time, in football history, by the way, which I think is outrageous.
Absolutely. Let's get Frank up at 4 then. Frank Lampard at 4.
I think this is a fair 4. When you see the debate going, this is often the 4 that people compare. So I think your top 4 is...
We started fireworks here, but then logic is now taken.
Now, this pressure, though. This is crunch.
Scholes, De Bruyne and Stevie G.
Number 1, is it? You go
number 3.
Yeah, no, I'm happy to put Paul Scholes number 3. I am. Which, it makes me sad, but at the same time, I'm
Have we got a close-up on Joe for this one?
Joe's not happy.
Okay.
Go on.
It's 11 Premier League titles, treble winner.
20.
I mean, Bebe's won more Premier League titles than Steven Gerrard, but I wouldn't...
Didn't win 11, though.
I mean,
great goal for Cape Verde.
Yeah, unreal. I mean, for that alone, he could be in
If you two are in agreement, it's not my list, it's your list. So if you're in agreement with him at 3, let's go Scholes at 3.
You're happy with Scholes at 3?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah? Okay.
11 Premier League titles, 20 major trophies.
Okay, Neve, where do you come down on the top 2? What's your opinion?
Neve, work with me on this one, please.
Okay, yeah. So I've gone with KDB at 2.
Yes! Yes, Neve, yes. Sorry. I was very nervous about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why?
I think Kevin De Bruyne, he's come back. That 20 minutes that he's played against Newcastle, he scored a typical De Bruyne goal, outside the box, pinpoint. He's got another assist. That's 103 assists now that he's got, which takes him to 8 behind Cesc Fabregas in second. But you've got to bear in mind the games. Kevin De Bruyne's played 244 Premier League games. Cesc Fabregas played 350, and Ryan Giggs with 162 assists.
Unreal.
Gerrard over
600 games.
Oh, I was going to say that De Bruyne would comfortably be the highest of all time if Giggs didn't play till he was like 87.
If injuries hadn't stopped Kevin De Bruyne from playing full seasons a couple of times, he'd have smashed that record by now.
But you agree, you're both in agreement, sorry, just to confirm.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
KDB at 2.
KDB at 2.
Do you think by the time KDB retires, by the time he hangs up his boots at City, let's say, let's put these 2 up, will he have gone to number 1?
For me, it goes down to the kind of Ozil situation that I mentioned earlier, that Kevin De Bruyne is operating in the team of his Premier League era. So the players around him, who he's assisting, like everything, the manager that he's with, whereas Steven Gerrard has consistently been the captain of an underdog team throughout his career. And if he was playing for any of these teams, if he was playing for United in the 90s and the early 2000s, if he was playing for City now, if he was playing for Chelsea, he would win the same, if not more. I think he's...
So you're going Gerrard as 1 because of that reason, the fact that he had to do more in his team. Is that what you're saying? Because the players...
Not just that, the longevity of it. I think De Bruyne needs another 5 years of being at this level, which is really... It's easier said than done. He's into his 30s now.
Yeah.
Steven Gerrard was in 8 PFA Team of the Years. No one's ever got close to that in the Premier League era.
Unreal.
It was just, he was consistently...
There we go then.
OK. Well, there is confirmation of Neve and Daniyal's top 10 Premier League midfielders of all time. Steven Gerrard in at number 1. Pretty solid list, that, I think.
Yeah, I mean,
pretty solid list.
3, but...